Greetings, Jedi Traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the daily trend for week 44, day number 2. It is Tuesday, November 1st. Happy November, guys, 2016. As always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only to support your knowledge in the market. See what's going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always manage your stop when placing a trade. All right, it was super trend today, best day of the month in quotes. Let's take a look at the daily possible stats based on the setups. Here we go. Take a look at the daily results. Here we go. Yesterday being a very choppy session, not really being able to squeeze out much there, making those setups, keeping them limited today. There we are, 443 ticks net for the week. Majority of those there on the NQ. A couple of ticks there on the ES today. But there was a couple setups this morning. 3 setups with up to possible 10 ticks based on entry with 1 of 4 possible trade management setups. And it was setup number 3 that just ran away using the Heiken Ashi cloud and the trend bars to keep you in the trend until where? Price action turnaround. Well, how do you know where it's going to turn around? You never know where it's going to turn around. You can only use your trading plan to determine that. All right, let's get into, again, like I said, super trend today. Let's get into some of the highlight charts and look at where price action might be headed tomorrow just based on the technical setups. All right, taking a look at the GC on the charts here, price action to the upside. This was the Globex session core setup. As you saw, solid Heiken Ashi bars in trend to the upside. That was last night. And through the evening last night, Globex session, price action, we'll go ahead and take a look at where the U.S. charts led today. But it was not only the gold, but it was also the euro to the upside. Nice move there for the November 1st price action. Solid bodies. That's what you're looking for. Hang that up. Make a poster. There you go. Price action breaking out and keeping in the trend till at least the counter trend or maintaining some type of support here through the cloud and then back to the upside. All right, taking a look at the U.S. markets. NQ trying to get something going here today. You had a couple setups, re-entries to the downside. Again, using the AD line in sync with the slope not in sync. Again, some of these possible valid setups had you kept the stop at the swing size, which is right up here at the tops of each of the candles on the pullbacks. But again, once you got in and once the AD line broke, you might have gotten some ticks to the downside. Again, you saw those possible setups there on the NQ to the downside with only being able to pump out 10 ticks, and that was pretty much the early AM session. And finally, all 3 indices giving way. And again, the best picture I could have, got some individual pictures there on Twitter that you can see. But again, we unable to, not unable to, but here the ability to stay in the trend based on price action below the T350, which is the outer blue line that you see here. And the T310 running along with price action, and then underneath the 5144 overlay cloud. Again, the 5144 being a determinant of trend here and to the downside. So very nice picture. We know we don't get moves like this every day, but we're always hoping that those will come. And there you go. Awesome setup to the downside. Can't help but emphasize the word awesome. All right, there we go. So the question at that point is that you got price action running down, and the question is, where are we going to exit? Where are we going to exit? All you had to do is move your stop down to the swing size, or if you're bailed out, you look for the re-entry, you watch your AD line. But once AD line reached the outliers here, again, 430 on the chart, price action bounced back up and never looked back. All right, now the question is, where do you enter? Well, some people enter just on the counter trend. You could have entered on the break above the T350, or you simply waited until you got a breakout above the cloud, which we'll see here in a little bit, and that would have been your entry towards the end of the session. Same picture here on the NQ. We saw price action down at the lows as it continued to move downside, just about reaching that outlier. Price action crosses over, bail, you're done with the trade. Awesome run there today. All right. So there it is, big picture NQ. We had a nice huge move to the downside, staying underneath the 5144, staying underneath the 50. So the majority of the trend downside today as price action came down. crossed that AD line or found that AD line support, and you're back upside. Now, you might have held out until price action broke above the cloud. There's my setup. Break above the cloud. That's right. T3 moving average. You got the break above the T350, 5 above the 34. Again, that could have been an initial entry. Nothing wrong with that. Carries a higher risk. But once you broke above the cloud, that's the higher probability setup. Not the greatest setup. But again, NQ would have taken you to the longs. ES a little bit choppier there. But again, downside this morning. There was nice moves on the ES to the downside. That was the initial start to the move. As price action rode down this morning, you might have gotten chopped out in some of these. So once it was the mid session, the ES run to the downside is the one I jumped on. And there it was. We'll look at it in the chart there. But there it was on the YM. Same setup, sitting underneath the 5144 cloud. And then once price action broke upside above the cloud, that would be the higher probability entry that might have kept you. And again, you could see the chop in the afternoon. And mindset is, hey, you got a nice ride down. Just let it go. All right, let's take a look at the charts as price action. How do we do on daily gaps? Again, with 100% guarantee, and mark my word here, YM will eventually come down to 15,924. ES will eventually, that's right, not saying tomorrow, not saying next week, could be in 3 years, 1860.75, and NQ all the way down here to 40.17. Those are my lowest targets. So once price action, the market is able to get out of this consolidation. If we go higher, great. We'll take out those upper gaps. But for now, YM and ES closing out today's gaps downside. NQ just staying inside that all-time high zone. Fib levels was a pretty clear, easy draw right down to the target low, and we just bypassed those and went down. We'll have a higher, larger range on the Fib levels tomorrow based on today's high, low, and close. All right, let's jump over to the charts. Again, let's take a look at the 6 charts here. On the top, we have the gold, crude, and the 6E, and then we'll jump to the indices. Here again, that crude just fighting with any news on OPEC and what world leaders are deciding, but there's price action today on the crude, pretty choppy overnight, just led into today's. We got EIA report tomorrow. There was the better of the setups downside. Short setup underneath the cloud, underneath the T350, underneath VWAP here. A little bit of a spurt up here. Price action, I told watch out for that VWAP. And then once a little bit back downside afternoon trading, you could see was pretty choppy all across the board. Just looking at the charts downside. So flat session on the crude. Oh, it was the gold. You remember, though, you saw that chart on the gold as we saw gold. That's right. There was that gold overnight. Taking a look at the charts here. Long setups up here to the Globex high. But how did gold do fare during the day? It was tough. A couple of setups here break out of the T350, but really never got anywhere. And in sync with the gold, we had the silver. Let's pull up the Think or Swim charts. Here we go. Nice setup on the silver. Let's get a nice big picture there. There we go. Silver to the upside. Whether you're trading the E-mini silver or the silver here, nice move. Solid Heikin Ashi bars above the T310 and the T350. Accompany that with the 5144, and you had yourself a nice setup. All right, taking a look at the 6E. We saw that chart on the 6E headed upside. That's right. How did it do during the U.S. session? Not bad. Held above the 5144, T350 above the VWAP. The VWAP. Sorry about that. And in the green for the majority of the session. So kept you in the trend from the overnight, which was the Globex. There was solid body, tails up, Heikin Ashi bars. All charts in the green. Very nice move today on the 6E Euro. All right, taking a look at that NQ again. We saw that move to the downside. There was that whole entire session. Easy to manage the trade. I say easy loosely, but again, easy to just simply move the stop all the way down to the swing size. You're still under 51.44. You got 5 charts in the red. Kudos to anybody that held on to all those contracts out of the downside. Big move. Once we got here, AD line broke, and then there was your first chance at an entry upside as you got the core set up into the cloud, price action, and then eventually broke upside. And look where we closed out, just about right under, hit that VWAP, price action migrate. So nice move back to the upside. Mindset, I was out, done, not looking for setups at this point. Take a look at the YM again. We saw that YM a little bit choppy there in the afternoon. Price action to the downside, crosses upside after a nice run down. Doesn't, not able to close out the VWAP, but the S&P to the T, and not only a VWAP, but also almost a 50% Fibonacci retrace from the high and pulling back. But there it was, ES coming back upside over the T310. Again, you're thinking, yeah, that just looks like any other move that was to the downside prior. And again, I showed you those ES early AM moves that got a little bit choppy, and that was the setup right there mid-session. Let's tighten this up a little bit. There it was. Sell signal, short setup signal, and there you go. And never really chopped much. Very smooth to the downside. 5 chart to the red, and then AD line got hit and back upside. And then a little bit choppier, not as smooth as the NQ. If you just simply rode it up without trailing that stop, you would have hit that VWAP and you would have been done. But again, mindset was just to sit it out. All right, so there was downtrend, big picture of the day, super trend. Where are we headed to tomorrow? Let's take a look at the daily big pick. Lots of volume. First day of November. Price action pulls back. NQ continues downside, now 50 below 144. So current trend downside. Again, this thing can absolutely rip up tomorrow. Back to the upside. Watch the 50 144 T350 for resistance. YM and ES now in sync downside. YM again having a little struggle there for almost a week. Pulling back, sitting inside the 5200. We still sit in uncertainty, but at least right now, current technical momentum is to the downside. Again, any pullback will definitely come up and battle up here at the 5144 inside the 5200. So got to go with the downtrend for now, and intraday got to be ready in both directions. But if we can get below these 200s on the daily, I would confirm a strong downtrend, and then we start to go close out open gaps and open VPOCs. All right, taking a look at the crude. Again, crude still struggling near 50, now below 144. I was going with the continued uptrend on the crude, a little bit more positive now on the downtrend, but again, I'm going to watch this. I got the 200 downside, so that would be the most possible level that we're going to reach. When we take a look at the daily gaps on the crude, I got nothing down here till at least 37.90. I do have an open gap up here at 48.42. We'll watch to see the EIA levels tomorrow, numbers, and see if price action bounces back upside. But for now, I got to go with the downtrend on the crude. All right, take a look at GC, getting that wallop of a move upside today on the Globex session. Price action to the upside. There we are, 50.144, still to the downside. So gold, 50 is still underneath the 144. You can see the white dashed line. So that's the bigger trend to the downside, but enough pointing upwards. I'm looking for the 50 SMA for some resistance. If price action pulls back, watch for the 50 and the 144 to be some support. T350 the lowest. If we break the T350, we'll continue the downtrend. So right now, the green background indicating that we're in an uptrend, but bigger picture is still downside. So got to go with the downside pullback until I show price action on the 50 crossing the 144. A lot of words just to tell you that right now gold in the bigger picture is still downside, but if we get that 50 above the 144 and we break that 50, we're in a definite uptrend. So almost indecision here, just like the indices. Taking a look at the ZN on the bonds here, price action holding downside. As we can see, resistance here. I got to go with the downtrend on the bonds. And then following up, EMD Midcap 400. We're definitely downside. All things red, sitting in between the 50 and the 200. 6E getting a nice bounce back up on the euro as the the U.S. Indices with some uncertainty. So we're going to see the 6E bounce up. Price action bouncing up. Still got to go with the bigger picture downtrend on the 6E. We're just in a downtrend pullback, as well as the yen finding some almost resistance here at the 144 and sitting in between the 5200. So I got to go with the downtrend as well. UVXY, one of those ticker symbols today. Lots of action here. Let me pull that up for you. Oops, sorry, getting that on the wrong chart there. Let me get that on the right chart. UVXY, there we go. I don't think it's going to come up there. We'll fix that in a little bit. All right, there it is, UVXY. Price action very strong to the upside on the VIX. And finally, in the down, as price action on the up move, VIX came down as well. So trending ticker there today as the market absolutely ripped to the downside. All right, heading into tomorrow, that's right, we have a little bit of economic data. Price action, FOMC, not expecting much there. EIA, bet you never know. EIA petroleum should be out tomorrow. ADP employment leading up to the employment situation. Non-farm payrolls on Friday with multiple Fed speakers. And then as we head into next week, maybe next Wednesday, we'll finally settle in the market in either direction. All right. That concludes an insight into the daily trend. There we go. Twitter feed and technical momentum of the indices and Q futures markets. Feel free to stop by at tradingfibs.com or any of my social media outlets to obtain more information. My trading mantra of one simple strategy: any market, any chart, any time frame will keep you disciplined. You can find me every day on Twitter here at Trading Fibs. Here's my Twitter feed. Again, if it's a chart not posted in the blog, you'll find it on my Twitter feed between there and Trading the Trend here, or StockTwits. You can always check me out at StockTwits and find those intraday charts and setups posted. I leave the crystal ball simply to the experts. I only trade or look for setups that are in front of me and on my charts. And as always, leaving your bias at the door when trading. For those interested in joining us in our community of like-minded traders seeking highest probability setups, feel free to email me at david@tradingfibs.com, and you may join us on Thursdays or Fridays to view the live charts setups as they happen in the trading day. Hey guys, Infinity webinar coming up on, I believe, the week of November 11th or so. And what else? If there's any questions, go ahead and email me. We'll be out of the room both Thursday and Friday this week, and we'll return next week. All right, guys, have yourselves a Blue Zone day wherever you may be. Good day, good night, and good trading to you.